the day.
Oh. Arlet. Okay, we have to kind of review this. What I don't know is that will it be played as a jungler or as
I think it was XP
Explain.
lane. Yeah,
Okay,
I think
so
it was. I think the last
Renzio.
view that we got there was Renzio playing it here.
Okay.
There you go. That's the matchup. Boyd and Kellera. Former teammates meet once again with the debut. Renzio using the Arlet. Early game pressure up top.
Wow. Instead of like going to the bottom lane, they actually pressured Ding up top. They weren't able to deny any extra XP cart or whatever from for the Lapu. So even after that pressure that was given by Miko, I don't think that it achieved much for Omega.
It's kind of funny, too, because they went and tried to make the first blood play with a double Petrify. You know, it didn't unfortunately for Smart Omega, it didn't work out. But if they would have gotten that early kill, that would be that, you know, going back to the team head-to-head where we saw that early first blood take, how often they can get it. That would give them that snowball potential. So luckily for NXPE, they don't give up that first blood, and now they can still just kind of ease into that first big objective and try to just hold off, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Omega's identity never gets old. Oh, been down one.
Oh, well, look what happens. NXP gets the first blood here. They find the lockdown with Voyet, and they're off to a good start. Now Kelro going to be the focus, bottom side, but still a nice start here for NXPE.
Yeah. Going to be really good for NXPE Evos as they do want to piggyback off of their snowball. Because we know that their composition is very all-in when it comes to like team fights. You want to go 5-man engage against your opponent.
Oh, that air strike going to come down. They do find Goyong here. They force him off. That looked pretty dicey once again for Miko, but now Turtle here. First one going to start it up. Ryzen starting this dance. Ding's there along with Boyet. Waiting for the rest of the team, though. For right now, it's a 2 versus 3, so not sure if he's going to get there in time. Boyet, though, might be looking for his own retro steal if he can get it off. There's the box, though. They get the heavy spin. Real-world manipulation. Going to zone him out. Wow. First turtle secured for Ryzen.
And NXPE was still respecting the fact that the early game is really bad to counter. There goes a kill for Miko.
Yeah, why is Miko level 4 while Brusco's not? Wow, that's very weird to me. I wonder what happened to Brusco. Maybe there's somebody from NXPE Evos who had the lowest gold before this happened. So, or maybe Miko just got a full lane for himself in the middle.
I think because Miko visited the XP lane
top lane, perhaps?
right away.
Faster.
Yeah, so Boyet should be fine here unless he's going to get chased down. There you go. But, yeah, I think that would explain it, right? They did try to make that play up top. Was probably around when that, XP cart went down early on.
Yeah, so far the zone out and also the bombs bunnies of Brusco really works. As expected, at Omega's composition, they can rotate early. They have Miko, and also with the presence of the Kadita, they can easily jump and burst down one. This was on the aggressive identity of Omega. They don't want to risk or they don't want to leave any chance for the team to come back. But also, this is how they start their momentum. Early game.
Going to be very good for NXPE Evos. For Omega, I mean, especially because they want to stop the early game progression of NXPE Evos. But there's still a lot of gold as it stands for NXPE Evos, maybe because of their solid laning. Surely the turtle belongs to Omega, but the cores of NXPE Evos are getting all the money that they needed. For example, you're looking at Doming DR after being babysat here in the bottom lane. It's going to be really good for the Melissa.
Yeah, we're going in for a pause, and as we go back and look at that mini-map, it's always about the pressure in the gold lane. If you're a smart Omega, you have eyes onto the Melissa early on.
Yeah, I think you have to. I mean, that's kind of the trend we're seeing now with the meta. Either the gold laners, they go on vacation mode, and they're just, like, farming across from each other, and they're 0-0-0 for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
And then eventually, they pop off, or you see both teams kind of put pressure there, maybe even babysit the gold lane a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happening right now is they're really trying to allow the best early game possible for that gold lane and also not allow Kelra just to kind of farm up and go ham, right?
Yep.
So, but still, it's something that you got to be careful of because anytime you do decide to opt for the Diggy pick, you are very vulnerable, especially when you have a Kadita that can most likely burst you down, if not get the time journey out.
That's right. I can see that Melissa so far is 2.9k, almost actually just 3 gold away from being 3k. That meant that he has the Corrosion Scythe. If you compare that to the Beatrix only having the Fury Hammer as well as the Legion Sword and leg plates just for casual armor, he's at 2.3k. So what I'm saying here is that there's almost a 700 gold lead. And in the first 3 minutes of the game, that is actually very important for gold laners. So to just emphasize on what we have been talking about in the previous minutes, it is definitely the focus for NXPE Evos to give the farm to the Melissa.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why the Diggy got delayed hitting level 4, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, the space and how they wanted to give more control on how they could be visited for a gank in the bottom lane. And now having the in few minutes, as they have the Corrosion side, this might tell or this gives the advantage or confidence for NXPE Evos to really have the counter-attack on ganks, right? Because they don't want to be in the area of where the momentum of Smart Omega can be.
Just waiting for the game to be back on. I'm still excited to see Arlott in action, specifically during team fights.
Especially, mid-late.
The final slash.
Yep.
Very explosive name for a
Irritating, man.
Final slash.
Final slash.
Like this.
Right.
Like,
although you start with it, you actually initiate with it.
yeah, I was going to say, so I don't know if it's
final slash.
Final slash, unless you held on to it.
Yeah.
You know? For the actual final slash, the kill, maybe. But, you know, it's funny that you say that because that's kind of what I'm interested in, too, is, you know, obviously, every time I've tried to play, you never get a chance to play him in competitive, right? I mean, at least in ranked games. Now that we actually get to see him in action here for week 3, day 2, and in the hands of these pro players, you know, what more does this, you know, hero have? Because I remember, you know, if you think about the previous heroes that have been on release and then eventually they're allowed to be played in the league, there has been some that are big, impactful heroes, right? Some would argue that, you know, the new heroes are always overpowered. But, you know, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And now look at, I mean, even for example, who's the latest hero that came out?
That's Arlott or
Arlott.
Joy.
No, before Arlott. Joy.
Yeah.
Arlott, Joy.
It was Fredrin then Joy, right?
Yeah.
So
Before Arlott, yeah.
Yeah. Before Arlott was Joy. But my point is, look at where they are now. Like, look at these, you know, these new heroes now. So Arlott, and I always feel like you got to spice up. If he fits into the XP lane really well, you got to spice up the XP lane, man. We have been doing that, though, I would say, thankfully, because at one point in the meta, we were just, it was Uranus, Esmeralda. Before that, man.
Last season.
Yeah. It was
Uranus, Esmeralda, Glue.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Bring a flashy guy with a sword in and make things more interesting. Because you already got Lapu Lapu, by the way.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. Yeah.
We
Swords.
need more swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ultimate really makes sense, like to make everybody out of position, since we call the ultimate of Melissa, like, get out of here, maybe for the side of Arl, like, step aside. Right?
Okay.
Slash him, like, out of position, so maybe that's one thing that we need, that they can do. But on the Smart Power predictions, who will get the higher KD in this game? Will it be Ryzen or Boyet, DR? Comment down.
Remember when Melissa was introduced, it didn't really, you know, pop off. That was exactly a year ago. Season 9 was the time it was first picked, and it didn't really pan out. But now, Melissa's a top-tier pick.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a year.
She's
you know?
come a long way here, though. The fight for the Turtle's going to ensue. Ryzen able to secure it. Boyet has to heavy spin out of there. Still going to be looking for a fight, though, if they can find one. Oh, look at the damage, though. Renzio falls. There was a lot there. 2 down for Omega.
Wow, somebody stunned the Arlott mid-animation of his initiation, unfortunately for Renzio, and he didn't look beefy at all. He looked very squishy at that.
Thin.
Very thin, because I think that he prioritized damage. So NXPE Evos, despite losing the turtle, you can see objectives like the buildings, they are taking it.
Yeah, so I'm seeing now Smart Omega has the softer side in the early game approach, right? They have the Karate, yes, they have the Eve, but more so, who's going to be the one protecting the front line? On the other side of NXPE Evos, they have one to spam it out from Diggy, from Brusco DR, and if the items right now is growing by the minute, this will push Smart Omega to get more objectives and also to clear the lanes.
Yep. Okay, so what will be the next? Okay, so they already transferred Doming, the gold laner, up top to face up against the Arlott, including the Diggy. So this is this is already a +1. It's always there. Oh.
Well, they're going to find another lockdown here. They take out Miko. Boyet on point with these heavy spins right now, but there you go. Renzio showing what the Arlott can do. Gets a kill himself.
Oh, this Petrify, I'm loving it. I would have guessed that typically when you see like Arlott, you want to go for something like a Purify or a Flicker on a defensive manner because you already know that he has a lot of offense. But now that with the Petrify, you have a way to actually -1 your opponents already. Even when you die afterwards, you did your job.
Yeah. The extra minute hold pays a lot to burst down one. For some next plays, look at that. Brusco's been the target here. Oh.
Yeah, you
Okay.
thought he'd be able to escape that, but didn't have any defensives left there.
Yep.
And now mid lane still going to be working. They find Stone being able to get a kill here. Might be looking for more, but so far, now next Turtle, last one of the game is up here. So far, both teams 4 versus 4 for the Turtle, waiting for both their members to come up, but Boyet and Ryzen, the showdown here. Boyet going to go ahead and get that retribution ready.
Wow.
Secured by Ryzen.
Wow.
Just like that.
And it did break a sweat. Just walk out there and take the turtle for himself.
Man. Okay, Kelra initially pointed his crosshairs towards either Brusco or Doming, but then he shifted and went to the turtle. A great retry and Bennett's Rage.
Okay, they get the turret here, but they can go. They get their Praiser's Wrath. Time Journey comes out too. Look at Ding hunting for Kalra. Can't get him, but gets a stun on Stone. Doesn't get him either, but 2 still fall for Omega. Everybody up for NXPE.
Man, you gotta have to hand it to Ding with all of his initiations. Started 1-0 and 2 out of the 7 kills and already have 4.4k with the Bloodless Axe. Trigger discipline when he went in for Stone. He knew that he was already under the threat and doesn't have any more slashes left with him. So instead of being very aggressive, he just went back, knowing that he could not give any trade for Omega. That meant that next play will retain their lead. Wow.
A wealthy jungler, Boyet. Ranked first in gold per game among junglers with 12,540. Yep, that's how you start your day.
Yep.
Man, it's tough because, you know, you're wondering, especially too, for Smart Omega, you did secure yourself those early objectives, which is actually different from what we saw with the player head-to-head, right, where you're expecting NXPE to do that. But they kind of, I wouldn't say they gave up the turtles, but they traded them for the kills, right? A lot of the times, yeah, Smart Omega secured all 3 turtles, but now NXPE has given them an advantage here, leading into the even more important one, that first lord of the game, right? And they're also getting space around the map to work with here, as another turret's going to go down, bottom side, tier 2.
Wow, look at Doming.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh,
my goodness.
The intent is there. I think he's already completed the so-called trinity of attack speed items. The Corrosion Scythe, the Golden Staff, as well as the Demon Hunter Sword. That, by the way, did not come from me. I heard that from watching Master the Basics.
The Trinity.
Yeah, Master the Basics and Omega Venus' streams.
So next play.
They call it the Trinity. Golden Staff, Corrosion Scythe, Demon Hunter Sword.
Well, next play, Evos is seeing the Matrix reloaded with his items.
Yep.
So this points out, how will Omega hold the damage of next play Evos right now? Because they have so much CC that they can give angles and space for Doming right now.
Ryzen is a level ahead, so this is not really just next play sided. In
Yeah.
fact.
This is going to be tough, though, to pull off. They're not going to let him go. A heavy spin comes down. They find the lockdown on Ryzen. As he falls to Goyong, they're still going to be fighting for it. Here comes Miko looking for the rough waves. Can't find exactly what he wants to do. Member after member going to fall here. Doming unleashing. One hit away, though. 3 down for Smart Omega. NXPE securing the Lord.
The great Lord dance coming out from next play Evos. What they did was to put the Lord low as they were holding it. And about around 30% HP, they have found that Ryzen can be pinned down against the wall. And even when it's just a one-man heavy spin, it was already enough for next play Evos because that was the opposing jungler. Afterwards, they held their ground. Very scary attempt coming out from Miko, but they hang on. They found the opening. They burst him down. Eventually, they get a turtle and 2 kills. The Lord and 2 kills, I mean. Big advantage ready for next play after taking this mid lane turret.
Yeah, I only see Blade Armor, Athena Shield, and Steel Leg Blades for Smart Omega. This is not even enough right now to even hold the burst of Goyong, right? And also for Bruce. There's 2 members you need to worry. So if Smart Omega right now is really looking for a good trade or even for a great push, they want to be into the Comeback King state. But now for NXPE was closing all the spaces here. Wait, just looking at the gold. Doming really had a good time. Look at that.
My God.
How fast they clear that turret.
Yeah, it's looking dire here, right? Now, they might be called the comeback kings, but this is a lot to come back from. So it is only the first Lord here. We'll see if they can just take this hold on to the turret. But look at the damage coming out from Goyoung's feathered airstrike. Going to push them back here. Still working on that inhibitor turret. They also park Ding top side. Inhibitor turret 1 goes down here. Smart Omega in a dire situation.
Yeah, it's really hard to come back. Like I'm seeing angles here on where to even have an avenue of seeing light for Smart Omega. Who do you think, like who can be up front? Ryzen has the ult for Athena's shield with a blade armor. Well, now damage is just with Doming and Goyoung and Brusco. 3 members up for NXPE EVOS.
I think this is Smart Omega not being comfortable in their own skin. Because if you recall, Redzio is more of a tanky, sustained kind of XP laner. The Glue, the Uranus, the Esmeralda. That's what you know Renzio for, and he's really good at it. This is a full damage build. And he's not tanking for his team, nor does he pressure the enemy gold laner, because that's what he really flourishes at. If you're looking at the NXPE, they're not having a good time.
You remember when we saw this yesterday, you know, where specifically with, it was Blacklist International, when Wise was the sole pretty much tank plus jungle. This is pretty reminiscent of that, right? Because now it's Ryzen here that is playing the Fredrin that has to just pretty much be the front line. Like, he is the front line because you don't have that extra layer of tankiness on your XP laner, which we usually typically see, especially with, you know, with the Glues or even Lapu Lapu. So right now, they might be looking to make a play on Ding specifically here, but he's going to Brave his fighter, just be completely fine, and they're going to give up the Lord here. So they try to make a play top side, can't get it, and then they give up the Lord to NXPE.
Somehow they felt that coming. NXPE kind of felt that coming from Smart Omega. They forced out a flicker, yes, but I'm sensing something here for the barangay. They want to isolate NXPE EVOS.
Ding's going to go in. He doesn't want him to recall here. Feathered Airstrike going to come down. He's going to lock down Renzio.
No.
Renzio can't escape. Couldn't even do anything there. So we're seeing the struggle here of this Arlott pick.
For sure. 2, 3, and 0 with a Petrify build, and he went for damage items. Only took the dominant size after the 100 strike, so there's really not much tankiness up front. You need to hit, you need to duel if you are Renzio, and unfortunately NXPE EVOS are not letting that happen. I think Ding DR has played phenomenally this game. All of his movements were smart.
Well, right now,
positioning, amazing.
so look at the damage, right? One shot, Kelra's got to go back. The lockdown from Boyet, going to find Ryzen again, can't escape this one. Brusco grabbing the kill there. Lord finally getting taken out. Backside under the mid turret they go. Domeng unleashing here. They finally take him out as he falls along with Goyoung, but is it too late? All inhibitor turrets are down for Smart Omega.
Oh, this is looking to be a disaster for Omega, as NXPE EVOS just literally walk through their base. And if not for Goyoung and Domeng DR, I could have said that NXPE EVOS took that more in a very disciplined manner.
Yeah.
And it's off of Boyet and Ding just really reading what Omega has been doing. And because of these two players, you can see that Domeng can play the Melissa game that he needed. 5-1 and 5, all because of the help from both Ding as well as Boyet. And of course, Brusco's defense
Early
to the
game.
Time's Journey. And he's got the Divine Glaive already up, so this guy's got hurt.
He wants to do some damage, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why he was, when we took a look at that player damage earlier on, you know, you pointed it out, OSX, he was what, number 3 in the damage done? You know, so
3 of them, 3 members of NXPE EVOS on top of the damage.
Yeah, and Brusco was there, right? The bunnies of death, basically.
No, I don't.
Bunnies of Death.
Yeah, I've seen those scary games, it's really scary. But if you're up against Bruce right now, I get more scary because how will even Omega place themselves here, right? Either they force out ultimates or even catch one. They tried it earlier, but it went around. It didn't look the same, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because, you know, back in the draft, we're like, man, we would not pick a Melissa into the Eve and the Kadena, but so far we've been proven wrong here. You know, Domeng, and a lot of that is just because of the fact that Domeng doesn't have anything to worry about, to be honest. Like, he doesn't actually have to worry about even Miko getting close enough. I mean, yes, there's been times when the team fights break out that Miko is able to find the angle that he wants to, but for the majority of the game, you know, Domeng hasn't had to really worry about anything here. So
you have really good frontline defense, even catch. So if everybody from Smart Omega tries to even penetrate to take down one, nobody can even reach one or two members now. So Lord Dance on the side of NXPE EVOS. Looks like Omega's going to attempt this one.
yeah, Miko also, keep an eye on him. He's going to be looking for the angle. They get a lockdown again on Ryzen, trying to take him out as they do. Miko still looking for the backside, a little bit too late to the party. Look at the damage he's done to him. And Miko running for the hills, triple kill over to Goyong. The feathered airstrikes are too much. It's Renzio trying to run away. Can't do it though as he falls. Another kill. Stone left alive here. And it looks like NXPE looking to push in this game one. They're going to pull him back, get the flicker out. Working on the crystal here, and that's going to be it as game one in dominant fashion goes to NXPE.
Beautiful Lord Dance once again in that last one, that last Lord. The objective take coming up from NXPE EVOS. This is what we expected all of them when we were discussing pre-game. There's a lot of strength from NXPE EVOS when they do group up together, and there's really nothing out of the box for NXPE EVOS. We expected them to pick up the Diggy, and they did because it really answered